Hi folks, Dr. Sam Beatson here. Excuse the production quality of this video. I promised on my blog www.successfulinspirations.com yesterday that I would produce a video to explain what I mean by subpersonality negotiation. And what's happened is I went into the city centre yesterday and the electronics store had closed down and gone into administration due to the increase in online shopping and decrease of use of high street stores these days. The second opportunity to purchase a good webcam was to go to John Lewis Partnership, and while they sell what looks like an excellent 360-degree camera with Oculus VR, which looked excellent, the learning curve on the technology looked like it was a little bit steeper than the small amount of time that I've had today in order to create a video. I'm cramming this in actually during the break between having dinner with friends and doing various family matters throughout the day. So I do want to share with you though what I promised, which was what I call subpersonality negotiation. It's also known in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, as the visual squash sometimes, and some of you will know and be following the fact that I'm on a 30-day journey to achieve the goal. I have abundant, radiant health and vibrant vitality. Abundant, radiant health and vibrant vitality, a 30-day journey, a 30-day challenge. And the background to this is that I've been trying for years to use, well, I've been using the gym for years really well. I got training from a terrific natural bodybuilder who owns his own gym and really knows how to use his resistance weights and aerobic, and taught me how to eat properly, how to diet. But when it comes to the application, I have the knowledge and I have not applied it well over the years. So there's been room for improvement for a very long time. And certainly over the last 9 months, I've had a lot of travel. I've had some long hours of consultancy contract, and I have been working very hard and basically seeking out, rather than healthy habits, I've been seeking out habitual overeating habits, and that's not been great for my energy levels, not been great for my look, not been good for my health. And I recognize that, and I have the strategies, tools and resources to address this. However, I haven't made the necessary prerequisite efforts to line myself up and get aligned with abundant health, as I say, and vibrant vitality. So I'm taking this 30-day challenge to put myself on the record as putting in a huge amount of effort actually to achieve an outcome in 30 days of, having a pretty ugly looking Jabba the Hutt kind of before photograph, and then we'll look again in 30 days and see whether things have flattened out and gone a bit more svelte and gone a little bit more as I might wish to have them. So I hope you can join me on this 30-day journey, www.successfulinspirations.com. I have promised, in my first video, which I haven't yet published, I have gone into 20 strategies. I decided to list 20 things I could do in order to achieve vital health, radiant health, vibrant health, whatever you want to call it, slim physique, svelte, happy. You know the things I mean. Wellness, health, happiness, feeling good, having high levels of energy, not being overweight and sick, all those things. So I listed 20 resources that I have. One of them was doing Tai Chi, one of them was doing yoga, one of them was using the gym, another one was dieting, calorie counting, another one was to take more supplements, to go to like weight loss programs, and so on and so forth. And what I've settled on is to just do something every day that is positive for the body, positive for the mind, or positive for the spirit. And that could be anything from prayer and meditation through to eating only fruit for the day, or, that would be a bit restrictive for me, but it could be something like that. So it's going very, very well. I'm on day 7. I've used the gym at least twice or 3 times, and well, And basically, I'm just wanting to share with you that my emotions have been challenging. I've been experiencing challenging emotions. I've been feeling down and feeling unhappy about things, and things are coming up that I wasn't expecting. So even though I seem to be doing very well physically, I would say that, and when I say doing well physically, I really have experienced some profound change also mentally, in that the choices that I'm making seem so much more easy, in the right direction, in the direction that I'm wanting to travel, in terms of this goal achievement for the 30 days. And although probably we're going to get a bit more specific as I get closer to the 30-day target, as you know, around body mass, and around more precisely what I might want to look like, how I might want to feel. We'll cover that in later videos. However, the reason I'm doing this is in part because I want for myself to achieve high levels of vitality, improve my health, lose some weight, feel better about my choices around food and beverages and so on. But it's also as an experiment where I can share resources with you, including those which I'm developing, which are very cutting edge technology, audio technology, for example, which I'm using every day, which is helping tremendously. Okay, so where I was, I just had to pause there and take dinner, and I'm back now. And so what I was going to do is talk through, and it's a good time to do this actually, what I call a subpersonality negotiation. This is sometimes known as the visual squash. And what it is it's a way of digging a little bit deep into your unconscious mind and finding out where there may be a tension or a conflict between either your conscious desires and something that's going on unconsciously, or even two areas of unconscious things that are happening, processes that are going on, which are perhaps in conflict, making them conscious and then bringing them into resolution. The way that we do this is normally you will have a dialogue between the two parts. So you want to be able to consciously dialogue with your two unconscious parts and just listen carefully for the response from each of the parts, which might be a feeling or an intuition, or it might be an image, a visual image in your mind's eye, or it might be some words that if you listen carefully that your unconscious communicates to you. So the way we do this is that we have essentially an imaginary experience with our two hands. So on the one hand, and this is a quite good time to do this for me, because I just experienced today, I basically today for the first time in this challenge, I ate a bit too much chocolate today. So I had a bit too much chocolates, and I just wanted to have another chocolate right now. I wanted to have a dark chocolate praline cream, and I already had a big supper. I definitely don't need a chocolate praline cream right now. So it's a good time to do this because I'm kind of like, you know, triggered to behave in a way that I'm trying to change, and behave a way that I want to stop, a habit that I want to stop. So on the one hand, in the one hand, I've got this subpersonality that says, well, we'll ask the subpersonality, what do you say? This is the part of me, or this is the part of the unconscious that is saying, yes, I want to eat this chocolate now, I'm craving it, it's going to make me feel good. So what we want to do is just dig a little deeper and say, this is the part of me right here in my hand. You can imagine a ball there, a coloured ball, or a person, or a personality, subpersonality. You know, it could be, you know, I imagine that it's like a guy in a raincoat looking sneaky, you know, like a guy with big glasses on in a raincoat, like a spy or something, looking sneaky, creeping around, you know, looking here and there, and you know, craving, you know, maybe his name is Mr. Craving. Mr. Craving. So Mr. Craving, what's your purpose in trying to help me? What's your underlying purpose here? What are you really trying to do for me, Mr. Purpose? Because I know you've got a function, And I know that you're probably operating as intelligently as you possibly can. You know, you've come up to me as this image of a kind of intelligence agent. So what is your purpose in trying to help me, Mr. Craving? And then you listen, and you just get a feel for Mr. Craving's voice, and you get a feel for Mr. Craving and what he might look like, and what he might be saying to you, and who he is, and you know, what this aspect of you really wants, or what's its real purpose. So, Mr. Craving, what is your true purpose in trying to help me? And I get a pretty clear message there. I got some silence for a while, and then I want you to feel good. And that makes sense, right? When we do something like stuff ourselves with lots of chocolates or ice creams or whatever it is, junk food, sugary drinks, sodas, it's because we want to feel good. And we know that when these kind of sugary drinks and things hit our tongues, pretty much straight away it sends a message to the brain that gives us a sense of being high, excited, and relieved straight away. So we thank Mr. Craving, and we say, okay, Mr. Craving, thank you very much for that. Now I wonder what you're below that, beneath that. Everybody wants to feel good, but what's your true purpose beyond that? If we could go deeper into this, what's your true purpose in trying to help me? And I know you can't see on the video, I've still got my hand outstretched here. It's actually starting to ache a little, so I might rest it on my desk right now. So what's your true purpose? If we go a little deeper, if we dig a little deeper, what's your true purpose, Mr. Craving, in trying to help me? I'd be most grateful if you would let me know. And I'm getting, so to satisfy a craving, to satisfy a hunger. Well, a hunger for what, Mr. Craving? A hunger for what? God. Wholeness, wholesomeness. To be whole, to be free. To be alive. To be alive. Well, those are quite noble goals. Those are quite noble purposes, Mr. Craving. Those are quite high values. They're worth aspiring to. So, to be alive, what do you mean by that? What's your purpose in being alive? What would that give me? What is it that you're truly trying to achieve for me? So powerfully, Mr. Craving. To be alive, to be free, is to experience joy, the joy of living, to experience joy. Okay, so we've dug about 3 layers there into what the purpose of this unconscious part might be, to experience joy. Is that really, I think the question here is that really resonating? Do I really feel like that is the underlying, is that really the experience, experiencing joy, pleasure, freedom, relief from anxiety, all of those things? I can see how relieving oneself with overeating or junk fooding, or sometimes you just do it just to feel a bit of pleasure. I mean, I get that, but if you're doing this habitually, like I was doing, and I really want to change it, I can see how the two are linked. The two, the underlying purpose that we're getting to here, and the purpose of the underlying purpose and the purpose of just seeking a fix are related there. So do I settle? The question is, do I settle here on, do I take that as the true purpose of Mr. Craving? Let's ask Mr. Craving, let's go straight to the unconscious part. So Mr. Craving, do you accept, is it fair to say that your true purpose, your underlying true purpose in trying to help me is to help me to experience joy, pleasure, freedom, or which is it? Let's be clear now, if you will. Be so kind. And what I'm getting here is being present. Being present is a source of joy. The source of all joy comes from being present, or is contained within being present. So are you trying to assist me to be present? Is that your true purpose in trying to help me? To be present. What does that mean, to be present? What is important about being present? What is important about being present? To be present is to know God. To be present is to know the all that is to connect with your true self. Connecting with your true self, authentic self, being, your oneness, your unity, your allness, your okayness, being. And this is almost a channeling of the unconscious. But my stream of consciousness there, I'm working with this unconscious personality part, and I'm just going with the stream of consciousness. And so I think that what we are here is to be connected, actually. To be connected, to feel connection, oneness, unity. And so again, I'm going to ask my unconscious personality here, the subpersonality, Mr. Craving, can you sum up for me in one single word that true purpose of achieving unity, of being connected, of feeling at one? What would be one word that sums all of that up? And the word I'm getting is just being, being, being. So there's a sense there of presence, of being in the now, of being open to the present moment. And I'm responding to that emotionally now. So I have a real strong sense of peace around that idea. And it's kind of slightly beyond the mind, the idea of something about consciousness, about being, something I feel very comfortable with. So I'm gonna thank Mr. Craving, thank you Mr. Craving, for that dialogue, and thank you for your input. So thank you, unconscious mind, for helping me to discover that the true purpose underneath the craving, the desire, the wanting to fix on quick, chalky fixes and ice creams and sugary drinks and things is all about, potentially, we think it's all about being connected, it's all about oneness, it's all about unity, it's about being, just being. Okay, so that's great. So that's on the one hand. Now we'll move to the other hand. So what's in the other hand is the part of me, or the part of you, the subconscious part, the unconscious part, that wants to be healthy, that wants to make sound, sensible, positive, health-conscious choices around food and beverages and exercise and thinking about the body and about the self-image of the body, that is to say, the body image, and to do that consistently, regularly, and not in an obsessive negative way, but in a positive way, in a positive and enjoyable and happy way. So I'd like to ask that part of me, or that part of the unconscious, what is your true purpose in trying to help me? Radiant health, vibrant health, being healthy, having longevity, to live a long life, to survive, to be happy, to have energy, to feel good about just being. And okay, so notice there where I went with the stream of consciousness there, and the idea of being came up towards the end. So I want to explore that a little more. So just like to ask that part of me, and I'll call that, I'm going to address this part, this unconscious part. as Mr. Healthy. So Mr. Healthy, what's your true purpose in trying to help me, Mr. Healthy? We know you're about sound choices, we know you're about sound behaviors, we know you're about positive body image and positive feelings and thoughts around healthy choices. So what is your true purpose in wanting or desiring to help me? My true purpose is healthy consciousness, says Mr. Healthy. My true purpose is to be divinely healthy, to be whole, wholesome, and to counter attracting negative energy and negative vibration in your life through unhealthy and unsound habitual addiction choices. Okay, so some quite deep stuff there. So I agree, Mr. Healthy, that, and I'm talking as my conscious self, I agree that making sound, healthy, right choices around food and beverages and exercise and thinking positively and happily are all excellent ideals. Could you please define what is important to you about those things and why, or what your true purpose is beyond achieving those ideals or those outcomes? Being. Okay, so this is the idea of the visual squash, and this has been quite a long process. This can be done very quickly, or it can be done with a bit more exploration like I've done here. So being, notice that being is now coming from the part of me, or the part of the unconscious that wants to be healthy. So we can explore that just one more time. So being, what do you mean by being? Beingness, being whole, being present, being alive, being, just being, without thinking, not thinking, being. We don't often do that. We don't often just allow ourselves to be the I amness, to be the one. So, excuse me hiccuping. I just had dinner, but I promised to get this video out, so, and bring it to completion now. So what we do now is, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Healthy. Thank you for, and I acknowledge you for your purpose in trying to help me is being. And I acknowledge that. And now what I'd like to do is I would like Mr. Healthy and Mr. Craving now, who I'm going to rename Mr. Being. And I'm going to say, Mr. Being and Mr. Healthy, you're both in a sense Mr. Being, because your true purpose in trying to help me is being. So what I'd like to do is acknowledge that your true purpose, both of you, even though you are seemingly unconscious, conflicting parts, underlying this is that you both have a common thread, which is being, which is just to be present, to be in the moment, and to be joyful, and to be happy in being in the moment. And I'd like to now imagine both Mr. Being and Mr. Craving as two balls of light, a golden ball and a silver ball of light. In this case, it can be any color. And I'm going to bring these golden ball and this silver ball, I'm going to imagine them expanding and growing in my hands here, and I'm going to bring them together into a giant ball of white light. Into a giant ball of white light. So it's a visualization exercise here, giant ball of white, bright white light, and they're coming together, they're merging together, they're mixing together, and they are resolving one another, and they are coming together for the purpose of being, the purpose of being. And with that knowledge and everything that I take from this exercise, I now bring that circle of white light containing the gold and silver orbs, which are now merged together, And I bring that to my heart center. I take a deep breath. Imagine the light expanding, glowing, radiating out. And I just bring that and make that a part of me right now. I take a deep breath, relax, and just breathe out any tension. And just feel the warmth and feel the glow of that positive energy and of that insight and awareness that comes from exploring those unconscious sub-personalities, which I've just done. Now, in my experience, that exercise has an immediate positive effect in that I feel more centered, I feel calmer, I feel more relaxed, I feel positive. I feel positive about the future, I feel positive about the moment, and I feel quite present in this moment. And those are very positive things. What I recognize firstly from experience is that this will carry on through into the days to come. So there will be positive experiences that come from doing this exercise. What I also know is that it isn't the solution and the panacea or panacea to all ills, if you know what I mean. So it's not the cure, the ultimate solution for every problem, or necessarily all I need to do in order to now be healthy and fit and well and experiencing terrific well-being for the rest of my life every day, automatically. There needs to be some continuity, there needs to be some persistence, there needs to be application of this technique and other techniques, and which is what I'm going to be doing over the next, however many days it is left, 23 days that remain on this 30-day journey. So I'm really, really grateful and glad that I got through that, because I've been wanting to do that exercise for a few days, and I've been wanting to share it for a few days. I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know how it's going to turn out. And I'm sure that I will do this exercise again with you. And I'm sure that I will do it in a way that's possibly more accessible, probably quicker as well. But for now, this was a part of this 30-day journey, and I'm really pleased that I got that done. I feel, like I say, I feel a lot happier now that I've completed that process, and I feel like I got to know myself a little bit more, which is always good. And I'm going to leave it there. So that's sometimes known as the visual squash exercise, and I like to call it a sub-personality negotiation. It's kind of like could be there could be some more negotiation in there. There could have been some more communication between the two parts. I think I probably was a bit more directive with my conscious self there in saying to the two parts, you will come together now, and then the visualization occurred quite nicely. So if I revisit that, I might have the conversation again with a little bit more dialogue between the parts, which would be quite an interesting way of also achieving a resolve. What I'd say, just to finish, I want to keep this to a maximum of half an hour. I was hoping this would be a 5 or 10 minute video, but it's ended up stretching out to about half an hour. What I'd like to do is to just mention a couple of paradigms or bits of work that I've come across over the years, bits of research, bits of publication. One of them is Gestalt Therapy Verbatim, which is a short book on some of Fritz Perls' work. It's got some extracts from, I believe, some seminars that Fritz Perls, who was a very famous psychiatrist and a pioneer in Gestalt therapy. And he recommends having these subconscious or sub-personality negotiations, if you like, with dreams, with the characters and objects in dreams in that book, Gestalt Therapy Verbatim. So that's quite an interesting process as well. When you've had a particularly vivid dream, or a dream even that you've remembered, and then to dialogue with the parts of the dream that you can remember can be very interesting and can create some highly therapeutic resolve, which can be very helpful. So I might also employ that as well. So that's the end of the video. That's the end of the subpersonality negotiation. Like I say, I'm on about day 6 or 7, I think now, of my 30-day journey. Today was undoubtedly actually the least successful day in terms of eating, but I did do this incredible leg workout yesterday where I really did exercise my legs, and it's recorded on my blog exactly what I did, www.successfulinspirations.com, where you can see what that workout was, and I'm really feeling it in my legs now. So walking around, there are a lot of aches in the muscles of my legs. So I might have been seeking a little bit of relief from that by being a little bit naughty on the choco front today. So anyway, I'm hoping that I can get right back on track tomorrow. I'm going to be kind to myself, gentle. This is not like beat myself up because I didn't do it perfectly. It's an experiment, and I acknowledge that I've been doing really well. I acknowledge myself for doing really well with it. And I really look forward to sharing more insights with you as I continue. Thanks very much, guys, and see you soon.